All right, Coach, turn it over to you for your opening statement.
Obviously, real excited about the win. Real excited about the way we played on OD and special teams. Cleaned up in a lot of areas that have cost us. Special teams was really solid. We got a nice kickoff return that added some field position to us. Coverage units were good again. Kobe Burst and Barati on kickoff team were really good. Really made huge impacts in field position for our defense. No penalties on special teams, 4 penalties the whole game. Offensively, really sharp. Thought almost everyone on the offense played really well. Receivers, tight ends, running backs, quarterbacks, O-line. I thought when you look at the tape, everyone really played a good game. Obviously, the negative offense leads to 2 interceptions. All right, one set up their only score through 3 quarters, and one stopped another drive where we had opportunities to put points in the board. So, other than that, we ran the ball effectively. Again, well over 5 yards a carry. We've been, like we've said, we've run the ball and MAC play very, very consistently, even against the better run defenses, even against teams that haven't. And then, obviously, got 3 touchdowns through the air, 1 to Sam on a play, and they were really good in the red zone defense. We got 1 to Sam, we got 1 to James, and a really nice play by Kenny on a wheel route, adjusted the ball and made a big play. So we got a lot done via the air also. Defensively, obviously, vast improvement from the last 3 or 4 weeks. Held them to under 60 yards rushing or under 70 yards rushing for the game. Had an athletic quarterback kind of sprung on us at the last minute, had to make some last-minute adjustments. Usually when a team plays their backup, the style doesn't change that much, but this was night and day from a pocket guy to a dual threat, maximum dual threat guy that they were going to run and try to hurt us running. Hurt us a little bit early. Second play of the game was their longest run. He had a 15-yard run the second play of the game on a designed quarterback run. But after that, we kept him well in check. He ended up with 13 yards rushing for the game. So you count in the times as 6 sacks. So got him one-dimensional. Coverage was good, except for one drive in the fourth where we kind of jumped around and did some things that we shouldn't do. But coverage was good, and obviously our 4-man pass rush was crazy better. And we pushed 5. We got Koenig Jr. involved in some rushes, which helped us because they're good rush guys, and we added them onto some rushes, and they were a factor in corralling their quarterback. So, Bake said right after the game, best team win of the year as far as you liked the way our team played, and you liked positionally every position had a good game.
Questions?
Heath was just in here, and he said he felt like it was the most complete game of the year. And one of the reasons they felt so good about it was because they didn't do anything special. Everybody just did their job, which you've been talking about all year. That has to make you feel really good.
Yeah, no, and that's the way it looked. And the intent on defense, there was people flying around the field. And if we missed a tackle, we missed a tackle going 100 miles an hour. And we missed tackles with good leverage. And there was aggressiveness in everything we did, from coverage to rushing to run fits. All right. And then same thing offensively. We had great intent. We made 2 mistakes and turned the ball over twice, but we were flying around the field. Our receivers were rolling. Our running backs were rolling. Our O-line and tight ends were coming off the ball. Our quarterbacks were aggressive, trying to make plays. So our intent, and then even on ST, we had guys' bodies flying. As we continue to grow and continue to learn and try to reach the consistency level that great teams reach, and that's the last piece of the puzzle for us, is that consistency, what it takes week in, week out to play your best football. And it's very, very difficult, and that's why it's hard to teams win and then they fall on their face, and they win, they fall. That's just the way it goes, and you see it every week. And we're learning some hard lessons this year that unfortunately sometimes you have to learn this way to move on and take the next step for our football program. He's a great example, too, of what it takes, because he's in pregame meal and he doesn't even know if he's going to play. Like, he was even contemplating not dressing, and he was this year. This time of year, you're week 10, everybody's hurting that's played a lot of snaps. Heath was probably hurting more than most going in the game, and it wasn't one thing. It was shoulder, elbow, knee, ankle, quad, you name it. It was more a cumulative effect of just, and we kind of left up to him, like, your body. If you can go, go. If you can't go, don't go. If you can't cover guys, can't cover guys. Like, that's the bottom line. And he decides he wants to go, he plays every snap, basically the whole game. So a perfect example of what it takes to play at this level and beyond, and what it takes to fight through. Been easy at 3-6 for Heath just to say, I can't do it today. But that's being a senior, that's being a leader, that's showing everybody that, hey, if you're able to do your job, you get up to work and you go do your job. It's easy to call in sick, but it's hard sometimes to say, well, I'm still going to go. I still got to go do what I do. And that was a great example of his leadership and what he's done for our team. And a lot of guys knew he was hurt and he was out there battling his tail off, and I think that helped us a ton.
While we're talking about injuries, how do you guys stack up going into Eastern?
Yeah, obviously it's early again. Josh Mays, we're waiting. Obviously, we lost him in the first quarter. We're waiting to hear. He had MRI last night. I have not even heard back what his prognosis is. Obviously, he missed the rest of the game. And then the other guys that are out, DeAndre Montgomery, too early to tell. We're hopeful to maybe get him back, but it's still too early. He wouldn't play today, but we don't play till next Wednesday, so we have some time. Other than that, we came out of the game pretty good, though. We didn't have anything new besides Josh Mays.
So what can you tell us about Eastern then?
Yeah, Eastern, it's amazing. I can tell you a lot about them. They're a really good MAC team. All right, they came off a really good year, much like us, a surprise year, kind of out of nowhere year, and really got things going. They had a lot of guys returning. Good players, good MAC players returning, and those good players have played really good this year, and they don't have anything to show for it. They're 3-7 now. They've lost 7 of their last 8 games. The losing streak entails starts off with a double overtime loss to OU, and obviously OU's clearly one of the best teams in this league, if not the best team in the league right now. So they lose to OU in double overtime. They go to Kentucky and lose 24-20, and they have a Hail Mary the last play of the game to beat Kentucky at Kentucky. All right. Then they play Toledo and lose Toledo 20-15. All right. Then they lose to Army 28-27. They miss a 2-point play where the tailback gets tackled on like the 6-inch line, or they win the game. And then they lose in overtime to Western Michigan and Northern Illinois, and then they lose last night in a game that they obviously outplayed Central Michigan by a wide margin. They turned the ball over, I think, 6 times and lose by 5 points. I know they gave pick 6 at the end, but if they don't turn the ball over last night, the yardage and the time of possession, all that was slant to their favor. The fact that they were even in a game where they turned the ball over 5 times, and I don't think Central had 1 or 2 turnovers the whole game. The fact that they have had the year. I'm sure they're searching, and their kids are searching, their coaches are searching a little bit and trying to say, okay, well, we've played really good. You lose by 5 and you lose 3 games in overtime. You lose by 1, you lose by 4. Like, we could have won every one of these games, and what is missing, what takes us to get over the hump. So their talent, their quarterback's fantastic. Roback's an NFL prospect, crazy great arm. Got a lot of fire in him, can make plays under duress better than any kid I've probably ever seen, just throwing the ball underhand, sidearm, shuffle passes. He throws more shuffle passes in the pocket, ad lib, running one way, shoveling it the other way. The Bailey kid's been one of the best receivers in this league for the last few years. They got a bunch of other potent receivers, as we saw last year, because Bailey wasn't the only guy that made plays on us. They got some athletic kids on the perimeter. Erickson and Van are both very good running backs. They lost some pieces up front, O-line, so that's probably the area they're least experienced. They only had 1 returning starter. Defensively, they played really good a year ago, and they're playing. If you look at their scores, OU, who's scoring a lot of points, 13-13 at the end of regulation, and OU's lone touchdown was a pick 6. So OU's offense in 4 quarters against Eastern's defense got 2 field goals. And that's the last time OU's really been slowed down, to be honest. So held Kentucky to 24 points, held Toledo, who's crazy potent, at 20 points. So their defense has been strong. They have almost a lot of returners off a year ago, really strong up front, really good at turning the ball over. You'll see from the first play to the last play, they're trying to strip the football. And they've done a great job of creating turnovers on that side of the ball. So they're a pretty complete team that, for whatever reason, the record could easily be flipped, and they could be having a fantastic year. And much like us, I don't think anybody in the MAC really wants to play us. I don't think anybody looks at our record and says, well, Miami's not very good. I think most of the teams that play us know that we're a talented team, and we play a lot of good football, and we've we've had nothing go our way, and we haven't made our own breaks, and we haven't gotten any breaks. And Eastern, I think people look at Eastern and say the same thing, like, a lot of stuff's gone wrong for them, and they lose by a point. They lose three overtime games, and so it just, no one really wants to play them. No one's looking at the record. Everybody knows they're a lot better than that.
Coach, can you just talk about the senior class? It's kind of your first recruiting class, just what they've meant to the program.
Yeah, well, this class is really a hodgepodge. It's mostly kids that weren't recruited by me. When you look at, there's just a few that didn't redshirt. Ryan Smith didn't redshirt, so he's part of this class. But this is really the last class that wasn't recruited by me, with Murph and Heath and I'm trying to think who else. There's not many in the class who are seniors defensively. You got Akeem Allen. What?
That's the fourth one.
Yeah, Akeem Allen, Ryan Smith, Akeem, Tony Reed, who didn't redshirt. So it's a little hodgepodge, but there's a few kids, and it's not much of a class when it comes to numbers-wise, you know what I mean? You look at players right now, Jordan Diamond's now part of that class. He's a transfer from Auburn. So you think offensively, Murph, Sam Martin, and Ryan Smith are the three seniors. And obviously, Murph was here fighting the good fight before we got here. Sam and Ryan came in our first class, and obviously started out at the bottom of the ocean with us, and were willing to stay and fight and scratch and claw. And same thing defensively. You got Akeem, who came in our first class. You got Heath, who was already here. Do we have any other defense guys that? And Tony. So you got Tony. So same thing. You got two guys we recruited and two guys that we didn't, or one guy that we did. So just what they've been through and helping us turn this thing around. And if you look at Miami football 4 years ago, and you look at Miami football today, it's obviously night and day. All right, and I know our record, we're 3-3 in the MAC. We'd like to be better than 3-3 in the MAC. We're 4-6 overall. But where we're at in the caliber of football that we can play on a week-in, week-out basis, and we've played 10 games, and 9 games it's worth watching 9 times. Now, maybe not the last few plays have been worth watching, but there's no doubt we have a chance to win every week, and we go play good football, and we have good players playing it, and we play hard, and we play as smart as we can. At times we haven't played smart enough this year, and at times we've made critical mistakes. But them being part of the growth of this program and going into their last, regular season home game, obviously, and thinking where we were and how little fun it was to be here, and how little fun it was to go play on Saturday, and how little hope we had to being as competitive as we are. We're still fighting, hopefully, to end up at least in second place in our side if we can finish this thing right. And to think that we're going to be a top-tier MAC team from here on, those kids will be long forgotten, but we'll know, the people that are here will know what all those kids that came with us, and even were here a little bit before us, what they went through to get this thing back turned around.
Grant Nemick is the other.
Who?
Grant Nemick.
Well, yeah, Grant Nemick on offense, right? Yeah, and he was here before I got here too. And just all those kids, most of the kids that are here that were part of Grant's East class, that they're all gone, and for various reasons, but that they're here and they stuck it out and they persevered, and obviously very proud of all those kids. And they, like I said, at different times they've been through football purgatory, and they've come out of it. It's not purgatory to play at Miami anymore. It's exciting to play in Miami, and people don't want to play us, and we're excited to go play. So obviously we're not there yet. We still have another jump, but to consistently be a team that can beat anybody in our league, we've already become that. Even 2 weeks ago, OU obviously is clearly a top team, and we're 28-28 going in the fourth quarter. 2 years ago, it wasn't even 4 years ago. 2 years ago, that wasn't the case. 2 years ago, we went to OU, and it was 28-0 at halftime, and they called off the dogs and beat us 31-0. They could have beat us 56-0, and that was 2 short years ago. So how far we've come, and then yet in what we've done facility-wise to build this program, to put this program in great shape for years to years, from decades to come, those kids are obviously a major part of it.
Everybody good? All right. Coach, thanks.
All right, thank you.